Okay, good evening and happy Tuesday to everyone. Welcome to Dreamstruck Tuesday. Tonight's topic is going to be active in April. There's a whole movement. If you haven't heard about it yet, you're going to hear all about it tonight, and we're super duper excited about it. I know that we have many of our team members on. We have people from everywhere on, and we welcome anyone every Tuesday because we have enough seats. So we figured, why not open it up to everyone so you could be blessed with information and connection if you need it as well. But what I want to do is go across to all of our panelists. We normally have about 7 or 8 panelists, sometimes a guest speaker on Tuesday nights. We won't have a guest on tonight, but we're going to have several superstar directors, and we're going to talk to you about how to prepare for April the 1st and the whole movement. But before we jump into that, I would like for all of us SSDs to introduce ourselves, because there's some people that are like, these people are nice, but who are they? So I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to Amber. If you'd like to introduce yourself, let us know where you're from, how long you've been with Scentsy, and then if you could just maybe for a minute or two explain how the Active in April movement impacted your business in April 2020.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So much impact. Well, my name is Amber Turner. I am from Flint, Texas, which is a teeny tiny corner of East Texas. We're so small. We don't have a school. I have been with Scentsy since August 2011. And I promoted in May. The reason I promoted in May was because of Active in April 2020. Active in April is something, for those of you that don't know, or for those of you that weren't around, it's something that was not done by home office, is completely and totally consultant led. And the goal was to get every single consultant in the company active. What a lofty goal. But I'm telling you what, people came through. It was crazy. Speaking of crazy, my house is a little crazy right now, so I'm going to go over into my office real fast. Everything just took off like fire, and everyone was so just amazed at what was going on, because to be completely honest, the goal of Active in April was to keep Scentsy stores open. If you guys remember this time last year, the pandemic was bananas. Businesses were closing, businesses were, being deemed essential or non-essential, and it was a very scary time for us. So consultants decided that we were going to do the Active in April thing, and it was crazy. Then we had a join special the month following, and we just grew like wildfire. And then hypergrowth started, and that is 100% why I promoted to Superstar Director in May. Because honestly, to be completely honest, I had never even hit the required GWV for Superstar Consultant until Active in April. So I'm pumped, y'all. I am pumped. Like, we thought we were in a shaky position last April to do it. We're doing it again. We're doing it bigger, and we are in a boss position to do it this year. I cannot wait. I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you do everything you can possibly do to get ready. You don't have to do all the things, but you better do something or you're going to miss out.
Thanks, Amber. Who do you want to toss it to?
Let me see. Is Emily on?
I am. Hello. So, not to repeat much of what Amber said, but just to say it was a crazy time. There were many of us that were trying to come together and think, how are we going to keep things going? And there were a small group of consultants that decided to rally around the idea of getting all the consultants active. But the interesting part, and the reason it was such a cool movement, was that it really did take, although it was sort of a brainchild of just 1 or 2 superstar directors, it really required almost synchronously all superstar directors to come together on their own and in their own way to talk to their teams and explain to their teams why this movement was so important and what it meant, not just for Scentsy, but for them too. Because again, it was by everyone getting active. It wasn't just to save Scentsy, it was to stimulate their own local economy. And you guys know that we rely heavily on each other's support, whether that's through someone who sells bows or makes cookies or whatever. We just try to support support each other. So this was a way to keep that going. And I'm sure that even though we're a year into this pandemic, many of you are still doing what you can to support your small local businesses, because they're the ones that need it most. Starbucks, Walmart, Chick-fil-A, they all got to remain open during this pandemic, and they've taken advantage of the fact that they've gotten to remain open because they're probably the ones that still continue to get the majority of business. But it's really important that your small local, restaurants, mom and pop shops, that yes, they can't have a lot of sit-in diners. I know that there's a lot here in Canada still. They do takeout. So we try to do takeout from somewhere local, at least once a week. So with that being said, I challenged my team to get active, and I offered, nothing crazy, but a little shaker card just so that they could hang it in their office as a, hey, I got active in April. And it was more a call to arms to, just say, do your part. You're a consultant, the requirement is not very much. 200 PRV is literally not that much. So if everybody could just do a small bit, we could make a big impact. That ripple effect, obviously, as you can see, really did quite a bit. And so we're hoping to make that same kind of impact, but maybe on a larger scale this time. And sorry, I kind of jumped into this without saying who I am. So my name is Emily Goodnett. I'm a superstar director out of Ontario, Canada. When I started my business, I joined in August of 2011 as well. Amber and I are twinning. I was August 16th. I'm not sure what exact day Amber joined, but for us, it was right after a military payday. So anyways, I actually started my business in the US. My husband was active duty Army, and we lived in Fort Drum at the time. So I started there, and then about 8 months into my business, we were assigned to Fort Carson, Colorado, and I was a star consultant there, and my business kind of boomed there. I spent the majority of my time as a consultant there, and I went from star consultant to superstar director. I've been a superstar director since 2016. And I can't tell you enough. It was such a humbling experience to see all of these consultants sort of come out. I made a lot of extra effort myself to reach out to consultants who maybe hadn't been active in a while, not only just to let them know about the Active in April, but also to check on them and make sure them and their family were doing okay. So I just want to encourage you guys to sit back, take some notes, relax. And if you guys have thoughts, or if you guys were around last April and can share some of the ideas that worked for you to get active in April, we encourage you to use that chat and share with us, and maybe we'll even highlight it on this call tonight. So I'm going to pass it over to Kelly.
Hi guys, I knew that was coming in. So I would like to introduce myself. My name is Kelly Brashaw. I am a superstar director out of Maplewood, Minnesota. I have been a superstar director for going on 6 years. It seems like surreal because I never thought I'd be a superstar director, let alone like a lead consultant. But here I am living my superstar director life. And little bit about me. I've been in the business since 2011. First couple years, I didn't even care about the business. I thought Scentsy was stupid. And then I started making some money. And who doesn't like a little bit of extra money from here and there? And then I started going on free trips. And hey, like I'm like a vacation queen. If any of you guys are my friends on Facebook, I go on vacation like as a hobby. So why not go on it for free? And all the tax write-offs that come along with it. And it just kind of boomed. And to this day, you guys, I would not have left my corporate job probably because I liked my friends and potlucks. Like that's why I'm a chubby girl. Like I love potlucks, and I don't get potlucks anymore because I don't work for a business. I work for myself. And but I loved my friends and my potlucks, and I would have never left them, but my job closed, and I had something to fall back on. So for my first 5 years, I worked my Scentsy business just part-time-ish. And then when my business closed, it was like, let's go. It's game time. And so I obviously put a little bit more effort into it. And here I am. So that year I had become a superstar director. The Active in April was definitely a movement. It was powerful. It was special. It was all these things that you think about because it wasn't run by corporate. It was ran by us as leaders. And who more relatable than your own leaders actually coaching and teaching you, or your leaders' friends or their friends? And this whole big group of friends is getting together, trying to be the biggest cheerleaders for each other. At the same time, stimulating the economy, keeping our business open, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but so many direct sales business closed their doors. Ours, like, they were going down and we were going up. We like skyrocketed through the roof, and we haven't slowed down. If you guys have not noticed, like, our business has not slowed down. I'm sure you guys are loving these paychecks. If you are new, welcome to the money pit. And I'm going to ride this gravy train as long as I can, because any business has its ups and downs. And 11 years in, I just haven't seen the down part yet. So we're still going on the up here. And it's more powerful when you can get involved in these trainings and actually connect with other leaders and other teammates from around the world as well. Because you know what, you might not connect with your leader, or you might not connect with your team on a certain level. But if you're able to connect with people outside of your group, which I know I was talking to somebody, I think this was Teresa I was talking to, or Teresa was talking to my team about this in a program that I was running. And she said, you know, that's how we met. Me and Teresa didn't know each other. We're not from the same team. We don't benefit off of each other at all. We just became friends. And then you share your ideas and stuff blossoms, which is also how Active in April started. Everybody got all their ideas together. Everybody took a part and said, we're going to go this way, and this way. We're going to come up with tasks every day, and we're going to come up with challenges. And I know personally, me and my group, I delegated to my directors, and they took care of their own teams. We had like Grand Central Station, but they also had their own little command center. So that kind of relieved the stress out of me. And then you have Grand Central Station, and you all come together for a common need. At the end, mid-month, we did a check-in in our group. I don't know about anybody else. And anybody that was left, we all kind of jumped in and we're like, hey, Patty, do you need help? I'm here to help you. Where are you struggling? How much money do you have left? Here's a post for you to use. Actually, we had a whole thread of posts that you could use. Why don't you try this? Or maybe you should inbox this. Or we had a million ideas going around, and it was super successful. It was one of our biggest months. And then like, was it Amber? Amber said we had that joint special the next month, which was something $20 in May, I think. And then we boomed again because we had so many more people. And then it boomed again because Scentsy keeps throwing us a bone. So that's enough about me. I'm going to give it to you, Teresa, unless Carol has hopped on. If Carol's on, go ahead, Carol.
Well, I'm here, but I have not much of a voice. So can you hear me? So sorry, I've been sick since Sunday or Friday. I don't even know what day it is. Active in April has been amazing. Let me start my video here. Okay, sorry. I probably look terrible. My face is all red. So it was really good. Last April is when we thought our business was going to go down, that it totally went up. And so what gorgeous as ever. I feel like poop. Anyway, so it has been, I mean, literally nonstop since then. And so I just think, how could we get even more awesome than right now? And so we had a leadership call last night that we talked about that regardless of the mission, regardless of the things that are happening this week or this next month in April, is that you also have to continue to find time for yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, no one else will. And so I think what we can do as leaders or just as consultants is make sure you schedule time in April to disconnect, to shut your phone off. Because what happens is when people, I guess I should turn this way probably. So what happens is people, you go hard all the time. You go so long, so hard for so long that you need to, you've got to take rest, right? And so I think it's so important. Schedule a date night with your husband, schedule a date night with your kids, make sure, you know, schedule weekend off, schedule one day every week off, because if you work so hard for so long, you're going to burn out. And so Active in April is a movement. It's what started everything last year. And during this hyper growth, I think some people forget to just take some time for themselves. So if I can encourage you guys to do anything, is to just take care of yourself, make sure that you are, you know, not burning yourself out, because you're no good to anyone. Like right now, I'm no good to anybody while I'm sick. I'm no good to anybody when you don't feel good. And I got sick because my friend and her baby were sick, and I can't resist a baby, and whatever. I got it from, it's always little petri dishes that make me sick. I don't usually get sick from other things, but sorry. I do not have the vid. I don't have any of that. There is such thing as just a cold that people can have. So I can still smell and taste everything. So I know that I don't have that. But definitely you guys need to go on a break. You need to have some time. So as you're looking at the April schedule, these missions, these things, just please make sure. I've had so many questions on social media too. Do you have the vid? Do you have the stuff? I was like, no, the vid's not going to get me. It's not what I am. But anyway, so just make sure that you take time for yourself, schedule that self-care. Go, you know, you're making this, like Kelly was saying, you're making great money. Schedule yourself a massage, schedule yourself a spa day, like reward yourself for working so hard. Because think of, you can't go, some of you guys go like crazy. I've seen some of you guys' work schedules. I've seen some of the things that you guys do. And let me tell you, you can't maintain that for say 10 years. So you have to think of this as a long-term gain, right? What are you gonna do in the long term to keep yourself fueled, to keep yourself going, to keep yourself for 10 years? Let's say that's your goal, is to be with Scentsy for 10 years. And I'm telling you, so you have to think, can I continue this pace and keep my health and my well-being for that later? So you want to make sure that you are pacing yourself. And you do not have to do everything, you know, that is in Active in April. This is absolutely optional. And so don't feel, I know I've seen a few people, they're super stressed out and about the stuff of Active in April. What are we going to do? And I was like, do what you can and do your best. Do the best you can every single day. And if you approach your business with this for like that for the long term, you are going to be successful. And so don't get overwhelmed by it. Just pick what you feel like will work best for you. A la carte. I've seen some of the schedule, and even I feel like, wow, it's a lot of stuff, but that doesn't mean, you know, I think what's most important, you tune in here Tuesday nights, you tune into the other things that your leaders offer, you plug in as often as possible, because that's when you refuel, that's when you get rejuvenated. We are like cell phones, our batteries constantly need recharged. And so for you to plug in to things that are available to you that work with your schedule, that's how you stay connected. That's how you stay a part of things. So just don't stress out. I think that's what we're here tonight, is to kind of talk about the schedule and let you guys know that this is all for you based on what you want to do. What do you want to do in your business? But I'm gonna be the advocate of self-care. Do something for yourself every single week where you put your phone away, you lock it up for a whole day, don't touch it. There's no wax emergency. Take an entire day off. Your team, your customers, trust me, they'll all understand. And you take a day off and unplug, please, once a week. You can do it. I promise you, once a week, you can turn everything off. Okay. So who needs to go next? Anybody? I don't know, because I think Debbie's on, right? I saw her join a minute ago. So can I pass it to Debbie? And then I can read the
Okay.
chat.
Well, we all hope that you feel better, Carol. I didn't realize that you were down in the dumps here, but I'm glad it's not the vid. So we'll take it. So I'm going to go ahead and hop on here, and then we will have Debbie Pitts-Palmer ready to go after me. But a lot of what Carol was saying, it really spoke to me as far as self-care, because I was one of her directors that did not take care of myself, and she knows it. But I know now, I know a lot better this go around than last go around. And so I'm ready to implement self-care. So let's go back to 2020 for just a moment. Everybody just, if you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes, but let's go back to 2020. Some of you are like, heck, no, I'm not going back. 2020, I went from like we all did, many of us did, went from this high. And then all of a sudden to like the lowest of all lows. And when I say this high, like I came back from Hawaii, from Scentsy leadership with the directors, never been to Hawaii before. And I was like, this is paradise. That was so high. I was in the middle of building a home with my husband and family. And so we were at this high. I had just attended one of I think it was the last world tours that was offered, which was Dallas. And we were at this high, like ready to jump into the year. You couldn't tell us anything, right? And then all of a sudden, I was supposed to go to the Netherlands. That's the N word we're not supposed to bring up, but I'm bringing it up. We were 1 week away from everyone that was top 100 who earned the trip to the Netherlands. We were supposed to go. And we found out a week prior that it was a no-go, that the world was shut down, that, people were getting ill and not making it in all the nine. And so we just crashed and went down to this low. And so I remember, like many of you, looking on social media, like, gosh, I've never been in a pandemic before, what is this? And so you start researching, and as you're researching, you start hearing rumors and chatter. And like Kelly said, there were many direct sales companies that closed their doors permanently, temporarily. And I remember texting one of the executives at home office, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to say, well, I guess I could say it. Avon just shut their doors. What's going to happen to us? And they were like, we don't know. So just work as long as you can, but we don't know. We're all in this together, and we're all trying to figure it out. And normally everyone had, at home office, they have answers. And when they didn't have answers, I was like, ooh, this is scary. And so I just was like, all right, well, I got one more paycheck coming, and let me get my teams riled up in March. And so then all of a sudden, we realized the impact of, what could happen with our business if our doors were also deemed to be closed. And they stayed open. We were considered essential. And why were we considered essential? I was like, how are we essential? Because we have wax and warmers. Like, your house doesn't have to smell good. But thank God we had cleaning products, right? Because cleaning products, toilet paper, we need toilet paper, don't we? But everything was just flying off of the shelves. And so we actually had laundry products and stuff. And for other reasons, because we could operate our businesses safely, we didn't have to interact or necessarily see people in person. We were permitted to keep our doors open. So when we had that permission, we were like, okay, well, now what? Because many people are out of work, restaurants, bars, cruise line, all these industries, the airline industry, everyone, nobody was immune to the impact of COVID in the pandemic. So now that we're open, who's really going to buy from us? And that's when, we all said that there was a few superstar directors, Heather Gorsuch and Callie Smith, and a few others that said, you know what, we are going to take this on. This is, for some people, this is our full-time career. And other people, even if it wasn't their full-time career, it became their full-time career because they were laid off or unemployed. So that's when the consultants, the superstar directors, volunteers came in and said, we're going to do an Active in April movement. And what that meant was everybody, we wanted to see everyone in the whole entire organization at minimum become active with 200 PRV. How are we going to do that? There were so many volunteers that helped with marketing materials. As a matter of fact, while I'm speaking, if you all remember back in 2020, we all said that we were going to make a commitment, an affirmation to say, my name is Teresa Gosh, and I, what was it? I'm recruiting myself for Active in April, something of that nature. If someone remembers exactly what it was, you can say it. But what I want you to do in the comments, in the chat, is I want you to commit to Active in April, if you're up to it, of course. I hope that everyone on here is up to it. That's why you're here tonight. But say your name and, and say, that I'm committed, to Active in April. So we all did that. We had different flyers, different campaigns that were going. I remember going live and just leading my teams, because what we realized is it was more than just us. It was more than just us consultants that were at stake. If we, lost our businesses, it impacted UPS, it impacted the landscapers, it impacted the cleaners in Idaho, and all of the shipping departments, the legal department. There was so many people that depend on us and the revenue that we bring in. So it became a movement of, that was well beyond self, that there were so many other people involved. And so we worked and we worked and we worked. And that, like Amber said, was one of the reasons why I promoted to SSD in April. Number one, well, I don't know how many SSDs generally promote in April, but before that, I might have been kind of knocking on the door, but not that hard, for superstar director. And ever since then, it's taken off. As a matter of fact, I've always been paid at SSD title because we are in what we call hyper growth. Sorry, wanted to make sure. Ooh. Sorry about that. We're in what we call hyper growth. And like Kelly said, whenever there's a hyper growth, there's usually a hangover, kind of like when you go out to the club. I don't really go to the club anymore, but back in the day, you're having the greatest time ever and you're living your best life and you got to deal with that, afterwards, and you kind of have a hangover the next day. Well, the next day hasn't come yet with Scentsy. So many of us are just riding this ride. Not just riding it as a passenger, riding it like a driver. And we're helping as many people as we can, fulfill their goals and whatever their dreams and aspirations are, because right now all the cards are lining up. So what happened was now we're approaching April 2021. And it's like, as a company and as business owners, we always should be better than what we were yesterday. And as a company, we want to be better, definitely better than what we were last year. That's always the goal. And so now that we've had all this success, it was kind of like, ooh, wait a minute, we're 12 months in. How in the heck do we beat one of the most exciting, monumental months that we've ever had? It was the best month in Scentsy history. How do we beat that? We do it again. We sign up and we commit to Active in April and we do it again. But this time we do it even smarter. So I don't think I'll be calling Carol crying like I was last year, because we're going to have a balance and we're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to exercise self-care, but we are going to book our calendars. We're going to utilize the tools that we have, and we're going to jump into some of that. And we're going to kind of go around to the other SSDs with some of the tips that we're offering our teams with Active in April. So one of the things that I want to encourage you all to do is don't just go into Active in April only because it's a movement and because everyone's doing it, like, whoa, everyone's doing it, so I might as well do it. No, do it with a purpose. We had a purpose last year, and my goodness, we have a purpose this year too. It may not mean to keep a roof over a building like it was last year, but like Carol said, you don't want to just celebrate in that moment. You want longevity. You want that celebration month after month, day after day, week after week, not just for it to be short-lived. You want this opportunity to be long-term. And so in order for it to be long-term, we always need to advance. So what I want to encourage you to do, number one, is go onto your workstation. There are tools there. There's one tool where you can enter your SMART goals. I think when you go to your reports menu, you'll see at the bottom, I think it says SMART tools or SMART goals, and just click on that pen so you can edit it. And make sure that you have a plan. If you aren't one that's normally active, then your plan for April is to get active. Okay. And how do we get active? We need to book parties. But if you are already active and you're already a rock star, then how can you, what is your next goal? If you're, is your next goal to promote to superstar consultant? Is it not a title? Is it, your next goal that you want to increase your team size, from 10 to 20? Whatever your goals are, do it for you, do it for your team, and make sure that you personalize it and don't walk into this month in the dark. Okay, have a plan. So I'm going to toss this back over to Kelly. And Kelly, if you don't mind, we're just going to circle around. And if you want to offer a tip for the Active in April movement, if you could offer one tip, what would it be?
My tip would be to start now. I know we are ending the end of March, and you may still have some goals for March. Maybe you've already achieved your goals. That's cool. But we still have like a day and a half left. But you know what? I would start contacting people now, whether it's for orders, whether it's, Easter, it's kind of long gone. But you know what? It's not too early for you guys to start thinking about Mother's Day. With my team today, I gave them a challenge to sell 3 fragrance flowers for $45, right? Because what's going to happen is, we keep talking about this hyper growth. Nobody else right now is thinking about fragrance flowers. Well, I am, and my team is, because I'm instilling that in their head. Like, if you are selling the fragrance flowers now, and like I have them right here, okay? I got like a couple of them within hand's distance of myself because I want to sell these. Better yet, I'll go live on my Facebook and I will advertise my fragrance flowers, because after next Sunday, people will think about the next holiday, okay? Which is going to be Mother's Day, which is technically like May 8th. Okay, let's say we have the maximum shipping time, 14 days. Let's, Scentsy is really good to us. Usually it's about 8, but let's say it's 14. Okay, if Easter falls on I think it's April 6th, 10, 14 days after that, you're out till the 20th, 30th. You might only have a week left to get your Mother's Day crap in order or to advertise it. If you guys are waiting till May 1st to advertise Mother's Day, you're going to be way, way behind, and there's going to be all kinds of potential sales that you're going to miss. If you're putting in your own parties because you have online sales, you have mystery host parties and people are just ordering from your links, fragrance flowers are going to be your go-to to get now, because what's going to happen is once everybody else in Scentsy World's like, oh crap, Mother's Day is coming, everybody's going to run for the fragrance flowers. And guess what, guys? Because of the growth that we've had in our business, they're going to probably sell out. I would hope to God they got enough fragrance flowers to go around, but just hypothetically saying, they're out of watermelon tangerine right now in the Scentsy bar. So don't think that they're not going to sell out of a blue grotto fragrance flower real quick. So I want you guys to think ahead. You should always be one holiday ahead, because Scentsy customers, they use our products all year round, but they are very holiday-ish people. At least I sell a million things for the holidays because it's just so easy. It's an easy target and it's an easy end game for me. So those are easy sales. I would say, have something to come up with right now and be consistent with it. People are not always online. That might mean you might have to send out an email. That means you might have to send out a text message. That means you're going to have to go on your Facebook story, connect it to your Instagram story, do a 2-for-1 there, and then maybe go live on your Facebook. It's like you have all these different angles if you're working social media. But let's not forget about the people that don't use social media. Like my mom doesn't use social media. My aunts don't use social media. There's so many people that don't, but they love Scentsy. So let's not forget those people that don't know how to use a smartphone, and check in with those people too.
Excellent. Thank you, Kelly. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of piggyback on is we did so well last April that April and months ahead, I mean, it was a miracle, like Orville said, that our doors were even open and that we were operating. We did so well that they were trying hard at home office to keep up with us, to the point where we saw Orville, Heidi, their kids, Jason Harwood, they were packing our orders, what they could, because we were selling out of the catalog, like the basics, the scent bars, all the fragrance flowers were sold out, room sprays. But you know what? It goes back to that self-care and your mindset. We're still experiencing hyper growth. There are nightlight warmers, scent bars, room sprays right now as we're speaking that are sold out. But because we've gotten so much better with ordering, and then also with the product list on our workstation, we have a system now where last year we were just operating in the dark. So plan for that. If something sells out, we've got hundreds of more other things that we can focus on. And we proved that last year. So thank you, Kelly. We'll go over to Emily. Emily, what tip do you have to offer for Active in April?
Yeah, so just to piggyback again off of Teresa and Kelly, one thing that I encourage my team to do is have their 500 PRV in by the 15th. Now, this isn't just exclusive to Active in April. This is just something I always encourage my team to do, almost like a shooting star take two. So you could even incentivize if you're a leader, or maybe you're not. Oh, I love that. Someone said green by 15. Yeah, there you go. So if you are a leader, 500 should be the minimum you're striving for anyway, because it's how you earn your bonuses every month. But let's say you're not a leader, but you want to be. It's a good habit or practice to get into. And that requires some preparation ahead of time. So as Kelly said, yes, we still technically have about 1 day left of March, but April's going to come really fast. And she brought up a good point about things selling out. We just have no idea what next month is going to bring. I'll be honest, March seemed like it was going slow in the beginning. Now all of a sudden, I mean, I don't know, my group just seems to kind of blow up. Like, this is our best March ever. But we want to be thinking 2 steps ahead and not get caught sort of in this sort of perpetual loop of things selling out, not kind of knowing what to do. So something that I did with my team was I came up with basically an idea a day that they could share on their social media, or that they could text their customers. Something that I'm noticing too, people are just so busy. And so if you can come up with some bundled ideas, like share a picture of a gift basket for inspiration. Of course, if you make a gift basket, you can't advertise any personal specials. But if you can, put together some ideas of things you can do for gifts, that would be really great, because then people can say, okay, I want that. And then if you can sell a few, then you can maybe even bulk discount some of that stuff for your customers, offer free gift wrap or whatnot. But yeah, so use the tools you have available to you. I will say too, just as a reminder, that monthly mission that was started last year, it was started as an Active in April group, but now they've changed it to the monthly mission. Active in April is going to be the focus of that, obviously going into next month. So make sure, if you're not already in that group, Amber has just posted the link to that in the chat. I believe, at least I thought I saw that she was going to do that. So definitely hop on over, get yourself added to that group so you can kind of stay up to date with all of the posts that are going to be shared by the SSDs that run that group. And just make sure that you're staying plugged in. That's really important. And like I said, set yourself up for success, plan ahead, work on getting that 500 in. And going back to what I was saying about that shooting star take two, that could be sort of, if you are a leader, something you can work with your team. So as you're giving them ideas on ways on how they can get to 500 in their first 15 days, maybe reward them, as each individual person reaches that 500 mark. You can go into your reporting tab, as Jason was sharing last week on his live, going and looking and seeing who has their 500, and just keep like a running list on your team page marked up in the announcements. And you just add the names as the people get their 500 in. Not only is that going to build confidence in them, but it's going to show other people within your team, oh, wow, look at all these people who are committing to this. And then you could even do like a gift certificate. You could print little cards. You can send something from Amazon Prime if you want, if that's within your budget. But just something to really recognize those great behaviors, because those are the things that we know are what's going to keep us going forward. So I'm going to throw it over to, is Debbie on? If Debbie is not on, I'll throw it to Amber, but otherwise I'll pass it over to Debbie.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you guys. And I'm just so excited to be here. This is an exciting time for me. So one of the things that I want to mention is that to start creating healthy habits. So part of what I'm talking about when I say healthy habits is that I always tell my team members to always have a VIP group. Some consultants I've learned have not created. So a VIP is always good because it gives you a chance to connect with people in a small way, and do a relaunch party. If you've been around for a while, do a relaunch party. That's always awesome to do some fun stuff. So if you guys are not in these MARC groups, I would encourage you to become a part of these MARC groups. There are several of them out there. I'm not a party person, but I'm learning how to do this. So I've actually have a party going on right now, and I call it. I'm so happy that Kelly mentioned this. I went live, guys.
I can't hear Debbie, like you totally broke off.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay, we're gonna come back to Debbie because I think that there's something that she can do on her phone, so her Wi-Fi will work. But while she's doing that, I just want... Can you hear me now? No.
Is that any better? Okay.
Deb, you know you gotta turn off that Wi-Fi.
The house is crazy. Let's see.
I just love
Okay,
this so
I'll
much.
pass. I'll pass.
Robot Debbie, Robot
Sorry,
Debbie.
guys.
Right.
All right, Debbie, we're gonna put a timeout so that way you can get the Wi-Fi connected. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in while you're doing that. We'll give you just a few minutes to get reconnected here. So, okay.
Oh, I'll say something. Is that okay? Oh,
yeah.
Can you
Please.
hear me? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll jump in. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to say is whatever goal you have, how do you eat an elephant? By breaking it down and eating one bite at a time. So some people are like, oh, I've never done 500 in a month, or I've never done 2,000 in a month. That's okay. This can be the first time you've ever done this. So take your goal, even if it's just being active. Let's say you're struggling to get your 200 because you're newer and this has become a little bit, you've run out of, you're part of the NFL, no friends and family left to buy from you, okay? So take that goal and break it down into smaller pieces. How can we get $200 in a single month? Divide it by 30 days, and there you have it. It's less than $10 a day. You need to sell $10 a day in order to make your 200. If you want to do 500, you've got to divide that. Now it's 20 some odd dollars a day, maybe 30. My math is terrible right now. So 2,000 a month is like $66 a day. So just break it down. How much do you have a daily sales goal, and work really hard to meet that? Message all the people that you know, talk to everybody, post on social media, do lots of stories, show your product, do live unboxings. Even if you don't have a box coming in, maybe you don't have an order, just find a box and unbox some stuff. Like, you can fake it until you guys make it, okay? So continue to break all your goals down into smaller pieces, and you will accomplish anything that you set your mind to. Okay, so that's, maybe somebody else has some time now, but I wanted to tell you guys that doesn't matter. Just set your goals and break them down.
That was really good. I love the NFL, no friends and family, no friends and what? Oh, left.
No friends and family left. you're part of the NFL. You don't have anybody else left to buy from you.
There you go. And that's why we have to party. And so that's one of the things I wanted to touch on. Debbie's going to come back with us, but if you have your pen and paper ready, go ahead and jot down some notes, because I took some notes here. Number one, make sure that your mindset is ready for Active in April. It's going to be a huge movement. You have to take care of yourself, but you cannot go into it negatively. Like, oh, no one wants to buy. Yeah, they want to buy because they want to buy so much that we're selling out of stuff. So check your mindset. Do not be negative. When you join the monthly movement group, don't go in there being negative, because they're not going to negotiate with you. They're not going to message you. You're just going to be removed, because we all want to be a part of others that are going to sharpen us. Iron sharpens iron. So number one, check your mindset and have a can-do attitude. Number two, exercise simplicity. Okay. There's going to be so much stuff coming at you. Like Carol said, coming from the left, coming from the right, coming up, down. Things are going to fall apart in your house. You still have to cook dinner. You still have to take a shower. You still have to do all the things, right? But make sure that number two, you're exercising simplicity. You can't do it all. And the Active in April movement isn't a methodology to say, do all the things, do everything that we're showing you. You get to a la carte and find out what intrigues you, what suits you, and then you do that. Again, with simplicity. Make sure that as you're listening to all the training, there's going to be so much training available to you, coming at you. If you are spending the whole month just training and you're not working, that's not getting active in April. That's just getting active in training. All right. And we want to get active in PRV. So simplicity. Number three, make sure that you have a goal in mind going into the month. It could be something for you, because this movement is going to be so powerful that it might be a promotion. You might be on the verge of earning annual sales. You might be right at the top of the ladder of earning annual mentor. Set yourself, look today and see where you are, establish a goal and crush it like never before in April. Whatever you think is impossible, whatever you think is unobtainable, do it in April, because you can, and you have support, because we're all going to be there with you. Number four, make sure that you have your tools and your supplies. If you're not in the monthly movement group, that's a tool, right? that you need to be there. And don't wait on your upline or your sponsor to add you, because you will not be approved. There are 4 questions that you need to ask to make sure that you understand the rules of being positive and that you are in fact a consultant. All right. Make sure that you have the Amy app, okay? Amy is going to be free for everybody that's not currently in Amy for the whole month of April, the premium app. And we're going to talk about Amy in just one quick moment, but make sure that you register. You can register today. They prefer that you register April the 1st, but they'll be able to make sure that you don't pay anything for the whole month of April. Or if you register today, then you'll get 2 extra days, right? Don't know how to register for Amy, then go on the workstation. It's under the accounts tab, and anyone that registers, they'll automatically know that you're going to be free through the month. Make sure you have your samples ready. Catalogs, all right? We do need catalogs. There in the monthly movement group, there's going to be QR codes available to you. It's going to be a new way to party. That's kind of virtual, if you will. You can send out the catalogs, have QR codes that's going to talk about all the different product lines, including Scentsy Club. You can make your own QR codes, but all that information is there. And you're probably like, Teresa, what the heck is a QR code? And go to the monthly movement group, because that's where all of that information is going to be. Have your calendars ready, because we're not going to get active if you're not booking parties. All right. That brings me to number 5, party, party, party. We have gotten so used to LTOs that LTOs have become the new parties, right? Because LTOs, you can have, well, I'm not going to say the S word. You can have Jack and Sally. It's too soon to mention the other blue dude. And you can have a party out of Jack and Sally by themselves. And so what people have gotten used to is like, okay, what's the next LTO? Because I'm gonna put in a $500 order. Tell me what the next LTO is, so I can put in a $200 order. No, tell me when your next party is. Tell me how you're growing your customer base. Tell me how you're growing your next prospects for your future team members, okay? So we need to party. If you are like, Teresa, I'm not a partier, put yet behind that. And I want you to commit to at least 1 to 4 or more parties next month, because we're going to do the dang thing, right? And there's so many ways to party. Go to the monthly movement group. Rachel Pence and Anna Hughes have created an amazing group. What was it? The boot camp booking, I think it was called, with so many different ways of how to party and how to sponsor. Okay, so number 5 was party. Number 6, your energy needs to be intact. There's a reason why we asked you all to go dress up in your camo. And I think I got a picture of Danielle Hawk with her hat. She's actually cheated because she's in the Air Force, you guys. So I had to go out to Dollar General and buy this. But I wanted to tell you that your energy, like even if you go out with your team and you have on something camo and you're like, come on, put your boots on, get your old boot camp shirt, be creative and have the energy. If you don't have the energy around it, it's going to be hard to lead a movement with either just you or your team. Okay. Number 8, we need to also sponsor. We can't just focus on the party aspect. That's one part of the leg, but we also need to sponsor. So as you're partying, always have in mind, who can I flip this party to, even if it's not the host? Who can I flip this party to? So make sure that you're set a goal of recruiting or sponsoring a minimum of 1 to 2 new team members next month. Why? Because we still have the spring summer incentive that we're working towards. All of this is going to go hand in hand. It's going to be work. It's going to be boots on the ground. But if we put our minds to it and we're intentional, we can do it. All right. And then number 9 is, what was number 9? Or did I have a number 9? Okay, network. We are going to have working cubicles. All right. I signed up for one and I hope to have an event created tonight. And what is a working cubicle, if I can talk? A working cubicle is going to be a virtual workroom where there's going to be certain days out of the week and there's going to be a calendar. You can join ours with the Dreamstruck crew, or you can join whoever, because there's going to be a handful of SSDs that are going to have cubicles. Why do you want to do that? Because iron sharpens iron, like we said earlier. If you are just staying in your leg of your organization and you're not venturing out to see new ideas, to make new connections, perhaps to make new friends or business partners, as far as seeing what other people are doing to help shape and mold you, and also for you to contribute, then you're limiting yourself. So make sure that when April 1st hits or kicks off, that you look at that calendar and find a cubicle to connect with. It's going to be once a week that you'll want to connect in a workroom with someone. You don't have to, but I think that it will help you. So those are my 9 tips, and Kelly's going to be so proud of me because I did a live training with her last week and I was on the struggle bus keeping up with my numbers and where we were. So those are the 9 tips. And I want to go back and circle to Debbie Pitts Palmer. How's the Wi-Fi going, robot?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now? Better. Okay. I'm going to make this fast because I know we don't have a lot of time. So I want to start back with healthy habits and keeping it simple. That's what I know. And keeping it simple, guys, is a matter of having a VIP group, keeping parties open, multiple parties. If you're going to be a host, I would suggest having 2 or 3 parties open yourself as a host. Continue to book parties, okay? Let me tell you guys what I did to book my last party. And again, I'm learning this stuff about parties because I'm an event person, but I'm becoming a party person. So I went live one day and I took these little fragrance flowers right here. I had the fragrance flowers on my live video. And I also had these Sharpies. And so people love to give their opinion. So as I'm going live, I'm asking people to choose colors as I color the flower while I'm live on the video. I had a whole lot of people follow me doing this. They just giving, they like, give it, put purple on it, put green, put whatever. I booked a party doing that live video. So the party is going on right now. I've gotten 2 people to join it, my team from that party. I've gotten somebody to subscribe to the whip box from that party. I've gotten several orders from that party. It's one party. And this particular person is still going on with the
Okay, Debbie, I think we lost.
Oh my gosh. Not again.
All right. So I think we lost Debbie, but we next week is going to be better. Sometimes technology works with us and sometimes it doesn't. So, but we're trying. Some people asked about the tips, the 1 through 9 that I offered. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jot those down and I'll make sure that as we send out the replay, it's going to be sent out tonight. So be looking for that, and we'll make sure that we provide you with the top. And I think I'll make it 10. I don't think we should stop at 9, but I'll make a list of the top 10 tips. There's also tools, there's links to the movement group and everything like that for you all to follow as well. Where do we find the replay? Okay, so that's a very good question. There is a replay link. If you go to dreamtuesdaysreplay.com, you can find all of our replays. Also, if you subscribe to the Dreamstruck YouTube channel, whenever I upload it, you'll be the first to get notified that the replay is available. So in case you forget, so definitely subscribe to the Dreamstruck channel, and then also go to that link. We always provide it every week, so that way you can share the replay with your teams as well. One of the things that I wanted to point out is I was looking at my numbers year over year. When I looked at April 2019, and versus April with the movement of 2020, our GWV, meaning my organization's revenue, increased by 106%, you guys, 106%. And that was insane. And that's what helped me promote to SSD. And that's what helped many of my team members also promote to director and above. Before the Active in April movement, I want to say that we've maybe had 4 or 5 directors, including myself, in my organization. We skyrocketed because of hypergrowth and the Active in April movement to approximately 24 directors and above. So that's the power of hypergrowth. Okay. Also, our group size increased over 40%. I know back in 2019, really 2020, we had approximately 300 plus team members. We're now at, where are we at? Well over 1,100 team members in our organization. So we're not stopping. And I'm sharing that with you, not to brag, but just to let you know that if you work your business, if you follow this movement, to the capacity that you're able to, of course, with balance is what I mean, you can also grow and you can promote and earn this incentive or anything else that you want to do. So it's 7:56. I think we have just a few more minutes, and I wanted to circle back to Amber to see if you might have anything else to offer in closing.
Hey, yeah, I sure do. So
I think you've got the robot voice.
Oh, my Wi-Fi better. Sorry, y'all. Is that better?
Yes, much better.
I'm sorry. I'm in the country too. Bless it. Okay. Like I was saying, I put the links to the 2 groups in the chat. So you've got the monthly movement group, and you've also got the booking bootcamp group. So like these other SSDs have said, these amazing leaders, do not let yourself be overwhelmed. That's going to be detrimental to your entire business. It's going to be detrimental to your April. So don't do that. I like to use the analogy that Chuck Thompson said once, and that was, it's like a buffet. So there's going to be so many ideas, and it's like a buffet. Some of the things you're going to like, some of the things you're going to hate, some of the things you're going to want to try, some of the things you already know you love. So just approach all of these things like a buffet. All of these leaders have said, take care of yourself and simplify, 100% simplify. Do not try to do all of the things. Don't try to throw yourself into all of these tasks, or you will burn out, you will go crazy, and you will crash and burn. So don't do that. It is a buffet. Take what you love, leave what you don't, try what you can when you have time, and absolutely build a business that is sustainable. These things that you start doing in April need to be things that you can carry on past just 1 month. Please keep that in mind. Then my biggest tip, and this is what I've really been working with my group on this last week of March, is to front load. Front load your April, just like these other leaders have been saying. Front load your April so that you can have your 200 on day 1, so that you can have your 500 by day 15, like they said, because what that's going to do is it's going to open you up to feel like you can accomplish more, because you can. You're not sitting there stressing about, how am I going to get active? How am I going to get my 500 to get paid off my team? Front load. One of the biggest ways I front load is by promoting the warmer of the month and by promoting the whiff box. I call it the surprise rounds. If they're not already getting it via Scentsy Club, most of my Scentsy Club people do use their half price item on the whiff box. But if they're not getting it via Scentsy Club, who wants to be in on the surprise round? Who wants to take a chance and get that whiff box before I even know what's in it? So I have way front loaded my calendar with that Life is Beautiful warmer and with surprise round of whiff box. Those are just a couple of ideas that you guys can do, because it's going to open you up to more creativity, but it's also going to open you up to helping others, whether they're on your team or not. Scentsy Spirit, you're going to be so fueled by encouraging others to get active when you're not worried yourself about how to get your PRV.
Excellent, excellent tips, Amber. And so one of the things that I also wanted to say as we close this hour is that Amy, the question came up, what if I used to have Amy, but I let the app go? Can I also get it for free in April? Absolutely. If you're already registered, you're kicked into it. So we're going to keep paying. But if you haven't, if you're not connected with it now, join now for free, because there's been so many changes, so many upgrades. Also, there's an Amy community just for Scentsy. So you'll want to connect with that group. I promise when we send out the replay, we're going to try to have as many links as possible to support you, because we want to see so many promotions come out of next month. The other thing too, is we didn't have time to do that tonight, but a booking blitz. If you're a director and above, have a booking blitz with your team. You can also blitz yourself. You don't have to have someone lead you into the blitz. Some of the questions is, how do I get people to party? When this is over with, I'm going to message someone and I'm basically going to tell her that she's partying with me next month, because I know she's moving into a new house. I'm going to be closing. So I'm going to say, hey, I know that when I moved in, I wanted all new warmers. And so I'm setting up a party shopping link with you. So that way we can get your new home taken care of for free and half off. And I'm going to send her the link. Boom, one party booked. Okay. I already have a couple, but we need to get back into the party mold and let the LTOs be the cherry on top. I think some of the pain points that we felt last week with Stitch, I'll say his name, is because some people only depend on LTOs. And one of the things I was trying to teach my team this week is, man, we got LTOs in the clearance section and we got power all throughout this. And that's what we're going to utilize. We've got the power of partying. So let's do that next month. I think that we have wrapped up another fantastic night of Dreamstruck Tuesday. Any of the panelists, is there anything else that we forgot to mention or need to mention as we head on out into the trenches?
Not really. I just wanted to say, in the whole spirit of this Active in April, heavy winds are coming. So you guys are going to have to dig deep into those trenches, like Teresa said. And when those winds hit you, you may have to adjust. If things are going to go out of stock, please don't base your entire business and selling things around an LTO. We already know you'll set yourself up for disappointment. So please, please, please heed our advice about preparing ahead. One person actually that I talked to, she likes to order all the new buddies that come out, whether they're LTOs or not. And so what I did was I literally created a party for her and just put all her orders under there. So she's pretty much already a hostess. And now that she knows that she's got a party link open, she's been sharing it with people to try to get a few extra rewards. So it's really just a matter of, adjusting your sales when it comes. So don't overwhelm yourself, but have a backup plan in case those things happen. So that's all I wanted to add though.
That's a really good point. Shipping also, please have grace with shipping. Sometimes we expect, I know I do, Amazon Prime delivery, but when we're knocking our PRV and GWV out the waters, there are real people behind our GWV trying to pack our orders and get it out. If you see that your orders are not coming out of Coppell or Kentucky and they're coming out of Idaho, man, roll with it, because they're doing everything that they can do. It's a miracle at times that they're getting the product in and that they're turning around and getting the product back out to us. So Danielle Harris said pivot. That is what makes strong leaders, and a leader can be lead, star, whatever, but be able to pivot and don't let it break you. We're in this together. It's a movement, and we are so thrilled and so excited to see the growth. So we're going to come back to Dreamstruck at the end of April, beginning of May, and we're going to talk about what the Active in April movement did for each of you. We are excited, and we wish you all the very best. Y'all have a great night, and stay tuned for the replay. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Yes. You're so welcome. Thanks for tuning in with us.